Pledge of
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
In person, it's been, we did a couple after COVID in the community center. Tried to squeeze into a very small back room, and we're like, oh, this virtual is very nice.
No, it's before my time. You were that? You were, all of us almost. Yeah, all right. Do you want us to print our agendas out? I'll do it next time.
Well, I mean, we'll
I hate this.
try to figure out the screens for whatever.
Yeah, I mean, I can ask, what did you say you needed, USB to go to a HDMI?
Yeah, I'll need USB to HDMI.
I mean, maybe they could put something in one of these cabinets. Like I said, they're going to do some changes. I don't know how soon that'll happen. Probably not real soon, so I'll see if they can put something.
One I know has one, because I used it at the workshops and everything when I'm presenting, but, so yeah, I don't know, I just plan on single-use plastic discussion, review of the project as normal. I had some charts I had put together for just talking about the energy transition plan and how it compares a little bit with the PA state-level climate action plan. Talk about social media posts, ideas on what we'll do there, curricular announcements, and then a little review on some stuff I found, state and local action. You can all read that, right?
Sure.
So, I mean, the dates, the backfill of dates hasn't changed at all. Of course, council did just put it up for first consideration again, so it went to the August 12th meeting. They had to put it back up for first consideration because of the incorporation of the cardboard box allowance. They also lowered the bag fee from 15 cents to 10 cents, which we all said, is fine and still compares well with a lot of things surrounding.
That's what White Marsh is, correct?
So, yeah. So, yeah, I mean, I think we're all good with that. Seems like now.
I've heard nothing from any other constituents, or at least none that have been communicated to me. So as of right now, I do believe we're on track to be able to take action on it at the September meeting. Yeah, this is August. We're in August right now. The September meeting.
So second consideration will be next meeting?
Yes.
Okay.
As I understand, it should be up on the website. I don't see it as of end of last week. I still didn't see it up under the proposed ordinance section on the website. Is that where it should appear, or?
I don't know exactly where it should appear.
Okay. I thought that's
It's
where
always
it's advertised.
Karen Weiss thing.
Okay.
I believe it has to be advertised in the newspaper also.
Right.
I don't think just on the website. I think it's.
That's to be
I
voted.
just wanted to go and look at the new version, and that's why I was expecting to find it, and that's a blank page right now, so I wasn't sure. So yeah, I'd be interested in seeing that, but that's fine. Wanted to tell you, I apologize. I tried to work with Farron and get those responses to the bag the ban comments. So I don't know if
Ban the bag ban.
bag, whatever it is. All their
I think it's
Ban.
I think it's bag the ban, right?
bag.
Yeah,
I
bag
always
the
get
ban.
confused.
Yeah.
Bag the bag.
I always
Bag.
get confused.
Yeah.
So we had put together a few responses, and I thought they're actually pretty good, but I never got them to council. I was trying to work with Farron for a good 5 weeks or something, at least 4 weeks, and he got back to me initially and said that he would have them in a week or so. I think it was like right around 4th of July, and he was just taking some time off. I emailed him probably every single week after that and said, I really got to get these back to him. I haven't heard from him, so I'm a little worried.
Maybe something's wrong.
I went to the website. He's still listed on the Penn Environment website. I don't know what's going on with him. I'm a little worried. I mean, personally, and then also, I mean, he's really the momentum behind this in
Right.
the whole state, so.
And he's usually so responsive.
Yeah, I know he's busy, but I mean, he'd at least get back to you and
You know, say, hey, I'm tied up right now. Yeah.
I don't know what's going on. But anyway, so I did send, we had put together to council, I think I put the date on here, it was just before the workshop meeting of this month. So I know you guys have something, maybe it's not as articulate in this,
For the
responses to the ban the bag.
Banners.
Bag at the bag.
I'm not even going to try
Bag
it.
the bag.
The baggers.
The backers.
yeah, I think we've kind of just
Yeah, August 5th, I sent it to you guys, so.
I think we've kind of just dug in on the same responses that we have been using. That it's
Right.
better for the environment. We're gonna do every
Less
little thing that we
trash, all
can.
kinds of stuff, yeah.
Trash.
The people that came to the town hall just never heard anything else from them. That was the end of it.
They haven't been showing up to meetings. They've been technically it's actually been advertised in some way, shape, or form. I think at every meeting since the town hall meeting. So we haven't had
On the agenda.
yeah. And like in some way, shape, or form, it's been on the agenda. And at the very least, we haven't had people been showing up to meetings. Kristen was the only one that kind of brought up constituents talking to her about it, which was why we
Oh,
delayed
that's
to
right.
review
She got in touch
the
with
ordinance.
Yeah.
So, but like otherwise, as far as the meetings go, we have not had
Yeah. That was,
great pushback. So most
When-
people I talk to are kind of comfortable.
No one's
with it.
asked me for the signs either
Yeah.
that I had made. I had drafted anyway.
I think that'll get more serious, I mean, once it really gets
Once it's
passed.
passed, right. I had sent them to Karen originally, the first drafts, but
But I think that brings up another thing of the website, or the web page. I talked to Len last week when I came to the council meeting. Did he reach out to you? Have you heard from him?
No.
Okay. So what I heard was actually the whole township website is supposed to be reworked. And so they kind of froze
Okay.
new additions to it. Like Karen Weiss was there, I also talked to her, and Len was there last week. I talked to both of them after the meeting, and Len was supposed to talk with Karen and try to work out if they could push this one in on the old website still. So I think it's gonna see some traction. I haven't reached out to him since I saw him last week, but yeah, if you wanna
Okay.
go ahead and reach out again.
Sure. Yeah.
Because he said he would follow up, and I talked to him for a few minutes.
So reach out to Brandon or to.
Oh, sorry, Brandon, yes. I keep
Okay.
saying Len. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, Brandon. Len wasn't at the council meeting. But yeah, I mean, the web page would be like where we put the link to the sign and like make it available for companies to download and use.
okay,
So,
makes sense. But they have to approve it first, don't they? Doesn't council have to approve it? I sent it to Karen, and she wasn't ready for it weeks ago.
I don't know if we'd have to approve it. If we did, then I'm sure, but because I'm guessing it's also one that isn't really relevant until we pass the
Yeah,
ordinance.
I have to actually change it because it says
Yeah.
15 cents. I'll have to change it to 10 cents too.
So I guess if it's something council has to approve, that it'll come through once
Okay.
we pass the ordinance.
Did council talk about how long they want to wait to initiate it?
I do believe there's language in the ordinance for when it takes effect.
I don't
I
remember
can't-
seeing it.
well, there's definitely language
there
in there.
is?
The question is if you would want, once you really say, okay, it's October, we're passing this, this says 120 days or whatever.
Okay.
Where does that fit in the calendar year?
Yeah.
Does it make sense? I don't know.
To do before the holidays.
I feel like it's 6 months, but don't quote me on that. I don't remember
I'll
what
have
the
to
actual
read.
language is, because we did want to try to give businesses enough time to be able to
Sure,
roll it out, know what's coming.
most people are ready for it.
I don't know if it was 3. feel like it's one of 3 or
We were
6.
discussing in the beginning, we said not before January 1st, right?
Right, because we didn't want to interfere with holidays, right?
Yeah.
So definitely, I think it's definitely at least after the
Burden
holidays.
on the stores, especially for the holidays.
But yeah, I just don't remember what the exact language is in the ordinance,
Okay.
but there is language in there for how many days after the passage of the ordinance that it would take effect.
Andy, did you say the new ordinance isn't up on the web?
So, I think it was late last week I checked.
You checked and it's not there?
I sent an email to Karen while
Okay.
we were here just to double check on that it is
So we have
being
to look
on the
at it
website
again.
and advertised properly, so that way it can go through.
My question though,
We don't want
there's
any
a,
delays.
the web page
Specific-
that says proposed ordinances, and I just assume that's where it should be. I don't know, seems right there.
Yeah.
Bag the ban, okay.
Just bag the ban?
Any other single-use plastic?
Just ban the bag.
All right, I'll talk about the energy transition plan next. I know there's been a lot of emails with Bill on the rooftop solar. I know he's looking at some different,
Options.
yeah,
Oh, good.
Yeah.
anything.
Do you want me to update? So he just updated the worksheet with various different options, like financing options and where will the break off, or break even point will come. So yeah, I think he's still working on that.
Perfect. Good to hear that.
Yeah.
So
It will be, if we get actual, how much roof area we can use for solar, that will be, I think, we'll have some realistic numbers rather than just assuming, the entire roof area.
For the cost.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I can give you a guesstimate on that. I mean,
Okay, yeah. Do you have it now, or you will need
I
it?
don't. I'd have to go up there because, there's significantly less roof area than there was, but I'd have to go up there. I mean, I've been up there messing around with the rooftop units, but I'd have to, this whole roof over here has a blind around everything, so that roof is totally
Can't use
unusable.
that.
So I'd have to go up and measure. I don't have that.
Yeah, I mean, if, approximately, right?
I mean, I would say
Yeah, I mean, I don't-
approximately.
Yeah.
I mean, I would say probably in the 10 to 15,000 square foot range, but I still would want to go up there
And see, yeah.
and see.
Yeah.
And the other thing we'll have to do too is we're going to have to get the roof's new, it's under warranty. We'll have to get, some type of written, response from the roofer that, we're not going to
That's
void
anything.
the warranty or anything like that, so.
Yeah.
Well, I know when I had my solar, they wouldn't put the solar on until they verified that it was less than 10 years old, because they didn't want to mess with it. And
Yeah, we're new, but again, it's under warranty. and it's-
you don't want to mess your warranty, sure.
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
So what was the approximate number that you came up with?
It was 15, but then in the earlier one, he had not considered the operation and maintenance costs, and now we it at the replacement of.
15 years to pay back?
Yeah.
And how much money did you have to?
I can open that. We can.
Sounds like a
look
long
at
time.
that.
You're talking about financing, so you've got a 6% or something interest
Yeah.
you're paying on
Yeah.
that, so I think 10 is something more like if you're paying for it upfront.
So,
I
yeah,
really hope we get
financing versus-
lower than that, because it's been stuck at 10 years payback for several years. I mean,
Yeah, aren't these supposed to be getting a lot cheaper now?
That's what I was wondering.
Solar's the cheapest form of energy now.
I think
isn't it?
actually,
Actually-
And the
One thing,
Inflation Act isn't
I don't
for
know.
nonprofits, no?
the,
We had a couple quotes years ago, and it just wasn't feasible at all. It was only going to do like 17% of the electric here, and it was going to be like a 20-year payback, and or more, maybe 30-year payback. So we didn't even consider it.
I
So
do remember that, yeah.
the other thing we have to consider here also is that we're not going to be able to get, just go out and grab, Joe's solar panel.
No.
We're going to have to bid this out. It's going to have to, I always say it's probably 30 or 40% more than what, somebody that didn't have to bid it or a government agency would pay.
Seems backwards, but okay.
It would be more?
Oh, yeah, we'd have to, all these guys are going to have to get bonded and insurance. It would have to be, it's a competitive bid. It would be more than,
Like if you did on your house?
oh, yeah,
Oh, yeah.
significantly more.
So last year was the first year, and I don't know, like a decade or more, where the cost of solar actually went up
Oh, really?
and down. But anything else, Lena?
Yeah, I mean, if anybody wants to take a look at Bill's calculation.
Wow.
Yeah,
Heck of a spreadsheet.
yeah. Yeah, and he has like multiple of them, right? Like,
Does he have like engineering and construction documents and all that stuff in there too?
Yes,
Because
it's down to
No.
records. Oh, no.
you
Not
could
to
send
that.
it to me, because that, like, all that stuff's real cost that, it's going to have to be designed, it's got to be specified, it's going to,
right. Yeah, no, this is just like.
The panels.
just the panels themselves.
This is the debt financing.
I would think it's
It's
more.
the installation too, though, right?
I mean,
Yeah, it's inverters, it's all the
Yeah.
electric.
The most important thing is if we violate the warranty, they're not going to do it. No.
So,
Panels have a life? Don't they have a life?
Yeah.
I mean, when I'm hearing like 20-year payback or whatever, some of them are like,
Yes,
20
20 years,
years.
right. And like, I could tell you, like, the school district, they built a brand new building. They didn't put solar back on the new building, and to me, there's a reason why. They had solar on the old building, they took it off, never put it back on,
I had a
so.
hard time
Really?
getting out of that deal with, they didn't own them, right? I thought that was a lease.
It was a power purchase agreement, but the fact that they didn't put them back up was,
Probably
I
the
think
roof.
the agreement, I mean, it's not just that, the contracting is complicated, so you gotta know what you're doing.
yeah.
Is there anyone we can ask about that? Why they did that?
I guess the school board, that would be,
That might be something
I don't
to.
know anybody on the school board now.
we had a member that was on the school board, yeah.
Oh, Eunice,
I
yeah.
think I know someone on the. His wife is on the Parks, Rec, and Shade Tree board. I think. What's her name? Winchester.
Winchester's, yeah.
Yeah. I
Is-
think
Is
he's on the
it
school board.
Will Winchester?
Yeah. Yeah.
I think he's on the school board.
Yeah.
How long has he been on?
I'm not sure, but I know at least a year.
Because if it was in relation to the building,
He may not know.
because you referred to the middle school?
Yeah.
Yeah, because that middle school's been up for what, now 2 years?
Well,
It was just finished when
It
we.
was just
three
finished,
years,
yeah.
Yeah, 3 years.
I think Eunice had the background there. I think could probably have some emails.
you'll probably send her
She
an
might have
email.
been on at the time when those decisions were actually being made.
She was, because I believe someone asked a question at that time. I think they were still negotiating whether or not they were going to do it, and I don't think she had an answer at that time. I remember the question came up.
All right, anything on the open space fund? Talk about it.
Yeah, I have a couple small updates. I looked through the Plymouth 2040 kind of plan, comprehensive plan, to see if they like identified any places or any sites that they wanted to preserve. There weren't any specific sites mentioned in there, I don't think. But I was going to ask Rick if you is that list that you guys have, is that shareable?
You know, I don't know. I didn't ask Karen. I know there are some names and addresses on there, so I'd have to ask her.
Yeah, because we said about
Yeah.
HIPAA, yeah.
Yeah, I apologize. I did not ask her, but there is a list that we identified, you know, several properties that if they came up for sale, the township would be interested in purchasing. And some we already have purchased. I can tell you, there's a property down at JFK Park. We purchased that, small, but adjacent to the parking lot. I think Branca was his name, the Branca property. We purchased Boyd Spencer's property, which is on Germantown Pike, that butts up to the community center property. That was on the list. So,
That's a good idea.
yeah, I could tell you most of the properties are adjacent to or butt up to
Some existing township.
township property.
Yeah.
And we watch them like a hawk, like council does too, like when it pops up. As long as like the money is right, like we're generally ready to pounce on
Yeah,
it.
they're aggressive about getting them, yeah.
From what I've read, though, are we really eligible, I mean, for the open space fund?
What do you mean?
Well, I just read about it, and I went to one workshop that I mentioned to you, but I wasn't sure whether, being that they're minimal for us, and that they're butting up to our property already, are we eligible for open space? Because it's not going to, is it going to benefit the residents? That's what the whole point is. So I wasn't sure whether, because it's part of the township, whether we would be eligible or not.
I mean, I would think
I don't know.
it would benefit, you know, if you're talking about expanding parks or
It always benefits the residents, sure.
green space. I know we had Ellen from the Montgomery County I forget.
Planning commission.
Yeah, she came and talked about how, you know, the value of green space and how it benefits all residents, you know, regardless of where they
Sure.
live. But yeah, I would think so. I would think as long as there are properties that we would be interested in buying or could buy, I think trying to form a open space fund would be a good idea. There's a little update with White Marsh. I mean, White Marsh has an open space fund. They've had it for maybe over a decade now, or close to a decade. Their open space fund is actually, they're hoping to create a position for a land steward. So this would be a full-time position with the township, and they would, you know, maintain the land, the public lands and the spaces that were obtained with the open space fund. You know, ecological restoration type stuff.
And they write the reports and make it
Yeah,
accountable and all that stuff. That's
but
cool.
It's interesting that they're trying to fund this position with funds from the open space fund. So
Can you do that?
We're gonna find
it
out.
depends.
I guess. I don't think-
I like that another township is gonna find out for us.
Yeah, really, yeah.
I mean, I
Let them
guess
do the legwork, right?
it depends how we write it, right? I guess if,
Yeah.
you know what
From what it sounds like, someone to take care of the land, especially from the ecological perspective, I would say that does sound like something you could use because you're trying to not just preserve the open space, but make sure that it's healthy.
Yeah.
And there's always reports
it
to
if it's
write and
scratchy?
all that stuff too.
But, yeah. And yeah, so that was interesting. I thought it's not approved yet, but it's you know, the environmental board is proposing it, and I think it has to get approval first. But it's just another interesting idea that we could use. I know we talked about, other than obtaining properties, the funds could potentially be used for maintenance and maybe a
Parks
land
especially.
steward or something like that, depending on how much funding we get.
And replanting and,
Yeah.
you know, tearing down infested trees and all that
Right,
kind of
yeah.
stuff, yeah.
Hazardous tree removal and
Yeah.
stuff. So I don't know, like, what for the next step? Do you think, like, maybe putting out a preliminary like survey to see how residents feel, or
You could put it on, I know the next town hall is booked up, I think, with like sidewalks, and so maybe it could go on one of the
I know that.
future town hall meetings.
Yeah. I think sidewalks was one. One of the other ones we discussed at one point, I think, was how to address deer.
Right.
From that section, I think one of the reasons we decided to do sidewalks first and deer as the next one was, I think, actually like where the timing would be for when the deer
Don't you
are the
both on the
most,
same night?
well, for when the deer would be most problematic and most relevant to having a town hall meeting. Yeah,
They
But the
ate
time of
whole
year,
front
yeah.
lawn, yeah.
but so I think that's when we're timing because I think they said it's like winter-ish, like late
Yeah, when-
winter into spring when it starts getting scarce. Is really when it
There's no
gets.
grass and stuff, yeah.
So we said sidewalks first, then revisit deer as the next option, something kind of environmentally / open space related could work together.
I wonder if we could do, I mean, I know like they do feedings of wild horses. Could we do some kind of a hay or grass for?
They're talking about a hunt, the opposite.
Oh, yes, I'm sorry. No way in hell, I'm sorry. No,
Yeah.
you won't get me to support that.
But I do think open space is a
In Plymouth?
Well, there's other townships that do them, but just because there's so many.
I'm sick to my stomach.
Valley Forge and that, I think.
White Marsh is talking about it too, I think.
Yeah.
Just reduction. I mean, they would use the meat or donate it to food kitchens and stuff.
Yeah, I like the Hunters for Hunger group.
Yeah, yeah.
So you said right now that if space comes up that's adjacent to like a park or something, that the township can just go ahead and buy it?
I mean, if somebody's selling their property just the same way that any developer can go or any just regular person can go, the township.
How do you find out about that?
So the township has money for it?
Yeah, so instead of using like an open space fund, they would use the capital fund. I mean, there's limits to how much is in the capital fund, but it's,
As long as the numbers work out, property that is high on that list of something that we want, we'll.
How do we find out though?
so I think,
The
and
realtor's call?
no, I think some of the properties have a right of first refusal on them, so they know the township is interested. I don't know that all of them, and I don't even know if that's still the case. I don't know how long those.
Can vary from property to property.
I don't know if it's
Oh, I
good
see.
for 10 years.
It depends
5
if
years.
it's private or public, right, okay.
We know the people that live right next to the community center, you know, that house right there. Yeah, the Dobbs. And they're ready to go.
Yeah.
I mean, they will, basically said they'll give it to the township.
Yeah. The same thing with Boyd Spencer, we contacted him.
Yeah.
So I believe that the properties that are on this list have been contacted, but I can't be sure.
Okay. I just was curious.
So it's like money is not a problem?
I don't want to say that's not a problem.
If it was if it was a 100-acre property, I don't know that. you know,
But there is, like, we haven't identified enough properties where we're short of money to buy.
I don't think so, but
Yeah.
There's just not enough available.
Because it's also when do they come up? Like, we're not just going to be going up and like offering money for it if they want it, because they're going to want a lot more.
I think the way it works is we do an appraisal, they do an appraisal, and then we negotiate or whatever. That's how I guess since I've been here, we've done, several. We bought the arena property, we bought it up to the back of the community center. That was 10 acres. There was 2 other properties on Germantown Pike. There was the JFK Park. So there's been several in the last 30 years.
So it seems like the open space thing is basically just identifying the properties and then waiting for them to.
There's not a lot of big properties.
They're small parcels, yeah.
They're not around in Plymouth Township. Really.
They're already identified, or?
They keep building.
Like I said, there's a list
Yeah.
that was done years ago, so I think most of them have been identified, yes.
And that's actually one of the reasons that the township is also like, generally, we would jump on certain properties simply because the way people build and develop nowadays, like if it's a property that's just one house, but it's large enough that developer might be able to fit 3 or 4,
Well,
we're going to want that and put it into open space.
Of Plymouth and that that's part of Plymouth Township that's in Conshohocken, that's what they've been doing. They've been building 2 and 3 houses on a single-family lot. They did that.
Yeah.
Even in the valley, they're
Well, Frank knows that better than me because he was on code.
in the valley. They're buying $300,000 houses, knocking them
Hollowell
down.
or whatever, that whole property is now getting like what, 12 units in there?
Where?
I think more like 16. Yeah, it's up here on Hollowell.
Really?
I think it's 16.
So, like, I know the list mostly contains properties that are connected to parks, but like, would the township be interested in buying these bigger lots to be like, prevent, you know,
I mean,
if they're not really near a park?
interested, absolutely.
Yeah.
The degree to which again depends on the price, the timing of it for when it becomes available.
Yeah.
But also, like, if we could get certain things to match it, like if a parcel's big enough and it's some sort of open space and there's a fund dedicated to that we could tap into, or some sort of grant we could find to help the purchase of it,
But it has to
certainly would
have,
escalate a lot more. But
yeah, but it would have to have some sort of, like, it would have to be accessible to the public.
generally, that's I think what we look for.
Yeah. Okay.
more.
Because I could see that being a point, like, you know,
Right.
there's only, 10 on this list, and the township always has the money when these come up for sale. There's no point forming a open space fund and taxing us more, unless we can make the case that,
Money's an issue.
It's for
yeah,
upkeep of the parks.
yeah, but and also for,
I think it depends on what the open space fund can be used for.
Right.
And I think that, because I think we've talked about it before, maybe like a year or two ago. And one of the things that came up was the limitations on what the money could be used for. And that's what kind of turned us off to it. Like, at least when we don't have it, we can invest the money in whatever we want. Whereas when we do have it, it gets so specific and it can limit in some
There's a
ways.
lot of legal stuff. I went to the workshop with the lawyer with the open space fund that you sent us, I guess. And there are lots of legalese and lots of legal stuff that you can't use. Yeah.
I mean, that was kind of, as I was sitting here listening, I was wondering, I'm like, so what is the benefit of having the open space fund? I mean, one is that it is set aside, it's identified as this money is going towards that cause. So it preserves that money for that cause versus capital fund might go away, it might be used elsewhere.
Yeah.
Here we know it is
It's also
used
kind
for
of
property.
negative too.
But I wanted to know, does it maybe qualify us for some different grants or something? Could we get more money because we have that?
And that could also be kind of the thing where if it qualifies us for grants, like, again, I don't know all the legalese with it, but like, is it something that we have to tax and invest in every budget? Like, could we just put in like a little bit of money like every now and again to make sure that there is money in there? But if it qualifies us for grants to get more grants to use, because you have to just have the fund, that might be something council's a little bit more inclined to do. But we definitely wouldn't, like, if we would have to increase taxes, number one, we do not want to do that at all. And
Yeah.
B, especially the limitation that comes with where that money can be used.
yeah.
Versus-
I think it certainly would qualify us for some grants, because some grants do require a match, or like an open space fund match or something. But yeah, I know, I remember, the guest speakers that came in and talked to us, they said the biggest thing was the pushback against increasing taxes, because even though it's a tenth of 1% or something, it's
Still an increase,
yeah, people don't, and I feel like, most residents, if you ask them, most residents want less development, want more open space. Like, everyone's for this, but they just, the tax, you have to get over the tax increase,
We've been
even if it's
fighting.
really small. So that's the fight we'd have to take.
Did you have some bigger properties that you, was that just a hypothetical if you?
Well, I know. There's one property on Sandy Hill Road that's mostly wooded right now, and they're proposing to build 3 houses, but because it's on such a steep slope, or
Sandy Hill.
Yeah.
The one between Sandy Hill and Penn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With they can't get water up
Is that
there.
the 3 houses now?
I don't know. I thought it was only.
I thought it was like 30 at one point.
I can tell you, I've been here for 30 years, and that's probably the 7th developer that's tried to develop that I don't think that property is developable, in my opinion.
Is it too hilly or something?
It's very, the topography's bad. I think the sticking point this last time was you have to have a,
Two means of egress?
well, maybe, but the other thing was the water, you have to have water, you have to have a fire hydrant within 400 feet of a development, and they can't get it there.
Gotcha.
Or it's gonna cost $2 million to get it there.
Yeah. I mean,
So I think those are the two things that have kind of kept us, because that's a property that we've always had our eyes on.
Here to go.
But the two problems with it is A, like what does it do for the public? Because again, it's not connected to anything else in the township. The price of it, and then just the fact that it is so hard for developers to actually be able to have something. And it's stuff we absolutely, definitely can dig our heels in, like something like a fire hydrant is absolutely, we can dig our heels in and say, no, we will not give you any sort of
There's tons of deer there.
waiver because it's a fire hydrant.
no. I mean,
Jeopardize our residents to get it developed.
And I think you're right about the two means of egress. I don't think they can get, because if you do a cul-de-sac, you have to have some type
I
of,
think a lot of it, what it was, is when the developers would come up with that means, the one mean of egress that they would have to add to it would take out so many houses that they would propose that all of a sudden now are they just breaking even? They're not making a profit.
yeah. I mean, I think that would be really cool for the township to get and have access, public access. Like I know that one house in front of it on Sandy Hill Road is for sale or whatever, but like stuff like that, I think would be, because I don't know, I
I
haven't
think that's what motivated a lot of the discussion too. I think 'cause when that house for Sandy Hill went up, all of a sudden it created a lot more.
created access, because the other access was from Penn Road, and there was really not, they had to buy.
I think at one point they had that, and whoever owned it sold off just that little bit on Penn Road,
Yeah.
and that's what.
Tony Chinchilla owned a house, and there was gonna be a house that would be on it like an island, because the egress into that property would have left her with streets on 3 sides of her house or something like that, so it didn't go through. But that was years and years ago. There's been several other developers that have come in on that property.
Yeah.
Anything else you want on
I
that?
don't think so. Yeah. I just I don't know really where to go next with with this effort. Should we kind of try to do
To seeing kind of an idea for just how many more grants it would make us eligible for just simply by having it, depending on how much we'd invest, and especially if it's something that a lot of residents in the township are for, as an initiative. Like budget meetings start October, I think, so it might be a little fast for this year, but even looking ahead to like next year is some sort of initiative, because budget meetings are open to the public, for people who maybe want to come in and just voice their thing that they would like to see us invest in an open space fund. That would be something that would affect council's movement on it. Is that something that maybe we should invest in? We're starting to get this buzz from residents that they do want it, and that they're willing to, if it has to involve some sort of tax increase, then at least we have more residents coming to us saying, do it and we're okay with it. Or if there's ways around it to be able to invest in it without having to raise taxes, even if it was just a little chunk here and there every year that might fluctuate with where the budget's at that year.
Just from my experience on council, Rick probably knows this. The idea is the residents wanted to keep the taxes lower and gave up the space. That's why we have all those new houses over there.
And now they might be regretting that.
Over where behind the school with the with storage units. I fought for that crap that stuff, and it was just awful. People just didn't care. They wanted to keep the taxes low, so they didn't care about giving up open space.
But I think
Now they care.
One of the most important findings of that study that Ellen showed us was that building more doesn't keep the taxes low, whereas preserving the open space actually is the stuff that keeps
I
it
know.
low. Because then you got to
It's a lot easier to
We had
maintain.
that study
It's a lot easier to maintain
back
a
in
lot of grass
2012, yeah.
than it is to maintain all the roads and all the sewage and all the other stuff that comes with having more residents.
Correct.
Oh, that big apartment complex? Oh my God. Yeah, what a fight that was. Yeah.
So,
All right. Well, thank you.
yeah. I mean, yeah, because I don't know all the legalese that goes with it. Is it something that
Yeah.
we just have
It's
to
a good
include a
workshop.
tax for to make
It's
sure money goes in, or
dry,
can we
it's good.
control the amount if we wanted to invest a little bit this year? Like I know we have,
Surplus.
yeah, like Parks and Rec comes and asks for their budget every year. Like if we're gonna have an open space fund, like would you come and present for a budget each year for what you want us to invest in the open space fund? Could also be an option.
Right.
Can we ask some like students or professors to take a look at like the comparison? Like if we have some study done, I believe you did a couple of years back, you did something similar, right? For, I don't know for which one. Did you do that for open space or for some other project? But maybe we can.
I mean, the students from Villanova helped
Yeah.
out with the energy transition
Energy transition.
Energy. I knew it was
Yeah.
something.
grid and
Energy,
stuff like
yeah.
that, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know, what program or students, I mean, I don't know.
Yeah.
It'd be fine to reach out if you had an idea on who could do that or what program that would be. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean sustainability. I know a professor from at Lafayette who does like she's specialized in what's it, the environmental economics, and she has done similar studies. That's cool. Comparing like
That
open
sounds like fits right
spaces.
in.
We got the fall semester coming up, so I don't know.
That's right.
Propose
Right
a
around the corner.
project or something, I don't know.
Yeah,
Community service project.
yeah. I can reach out to her and check if she is interested in it.
So the Villanova students, they had this RISE program, Resiliency and Innovation and Sustainable Engineering, I can't remember what. So it was through that form, they got hooked up with different businesses and everything, and local businesses, and helped them with different sustainability projects. So I was part of that program, or part of that degree program, and so approached the professors, the head of the department, and said, could they do something with the township? And so they fitted in under that RISE program. So just that they already had a program where they kind of work with businesses and everything like that. It worked, that they could just set up a team dedicated to that project. Maybe it could just work with a specific course or something. Just to let you know
it might
that
be just,
they had a-
she might be just interested in writing a research paper on that,
Oh.
right? Like, so that
Yeah,
might
white
just
paper or
work. She might just
something.
assign a student, and they probably can take a look at this as a case study or something.
I heard Plymouth White Marsh High School actually has an environmental group, but I haven't been able to tap into it.
Environmental club?
Mhm.
Yeah, they
Have you
do.
been? Oh, yeah.
I was president when I was a senior.
Oh, cool.
But
Do you know
we
who-
worked with them this past spring to plant a tree at PW.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
I thought that's what you told. I thought you told me that, or something
Yeah, it was-
similar.
They
yeah.
have a good,
Do you know
good club.
who we can contact to see?
Yeah, the professor that was there when I was there is still teaching there.
Yeah. Oh, good. Because one of the other environmental groups, Springfield Township, they have associate members for their
Oh yeah, I remember
environmental.
talking about.
Yeah. I reached out to the vocational school, but they never got back to me.
And guess what, Andrew, you inspired Dhruv. He's taking AP Environmental Science.
Oh no, that's good.
Yeah, my son is working with him on Eagle.
Oh, that's
on
fun.
his Eagle
That's
project.
great. Oh, good.
Yeah, he's taking.
Yeah.
That's
good.
That's cool.
You want to talk about community education?
Well, I know I mentioned to Rick, I think before everybody got on the call last month, that I wondered whether, once our ordinance got passed, whether we should do some education, hold an education for our group to see if they want to have input into what they see the township moving towards our group. And having like an open meeting with community to see whether just to put us in the right direction for the open space fund. Just bring up everything we've been working on and see what they feel.
Every meeting's an open meeting.
I know what you mean, but you know what
I don't
I
know
mean.
exactly what you mean.
Well, it's not going to be like a town hall.
But maybe having like a certain meeting every year, like specifically advertised or mentioned,
Right.
just to say
I don't know whether the residents even know we exist.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
Like I don't know, like how often you set your agenda, like because I think we did like an agenda setting in like January or whatever, kind of for the year.
Right.
So like like if you ever wanted to have like some sort of agenda setting or like agenda update, like advertised, to say like we encourage, like we're going to be setting, environmental board is going to be setting their agenda at the next meeting.
Yeah.
They would love to have any community involvement to come. The meeting will be held on this date here.
Or we can also invite certain groups, like the scout groups or
That's
like
true.
the
Environmental club.
A high school
High
class,
school,
whatever.
yeah.
That's a good idea. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Get people more involved.
To one of our meetings.
I know Monero, back when he was on count, like
Right.
as a teacher, one of his requirements was that students would come. I think it was like to a council or a school board meeting. I'm sure we could also reach out to like include
Yeah.
some of the citizen boards as well, since they meet on different days other than like the Mondays or whatever day the school board meets. Just to see, and maybe the students have more, like a student who might be in the environmental club in his class might more likely want to come here
Right.
to see what this is.
A lot of the EABs have what they call an associate member, which are students. And that's what I've learned from different EABs that I've been talking to the last couple of months.
I don't know how, if we could just add them or just invite them, or if that would take some action from council. But I do think,
I think I asked somebody, but I think I asked Karen, but I'll ask
Yeah.
again.
but I do think that would also be something council would be interested, like if it's something that needed council's approval to like add associate members or whatever, because I'm not sure just how the charter's written and everything. We'd be very excited to add associate member, like students at local schools or whatever or local organizations to come in and help out.
Yeah.
When we talked about education, I know tabling is part of that, or it should be, or could be, but because of my limitations, it makes it hard for me to do that. I know there's an event that Bill had told me about in September, but I can't do it alone. That's the problem. I can't lift things, and I can't do that anymore. So I don't know what to do about that. Makes it hard. So September something. Do you remember the date?
Not off the
To
top.
have it on the chart.
Oh, you have it on the agenda?
Yeah, I just want the EAB ordinance, so our ordinance does not mention associate members
So it
versus
would- Other townships do.
have that set up.
So most likely that would
So,
require us to amend the ordinance.
Okay.
I do think that'd be something we'd be absolutely okay with doing.
Yeah, I hope it wouldn't be an issue.
Yeah. I mean, the only issue it would be is having to, I don't know if we would have to, I think we would have to advertise it. I don't know if we would have to advertise it twice because it's just an amendment to an existing ordinance. Don't quote me on that. But usually anything ordinance related, we'd have to advertise twice.
Yeah, they just made the amendment to the bag ban, but that was not.
That was because it's still I think a new.
That's a new
Wasn't
ordinance,
advertised
right?
yet, so
Yeah.
yeah, I'm not sure either.
So I'm open for suggestions for education. I don't know what else to do. Where is the one that Bill mentioned in September? I forgot. It's not in Conshohocken. Did anybody remember from Bill's email? I mean, I have all the material. What is it? Oh, it's Woodpane. Oh, okay. What's it, Wentz Park? They didn't say. I mean, it's close to me. It's a matter of setting up everything.
Do you know what day?
It's a Saturday. They're always
Yeah, I mean,
Saturdays.
Right, but.
Saturday is September 5th, is it? Oh, 28th, okay.
Oh, 28. Yeah, let me check.
Okay, all right.
If I can, because if it is like earlier in September.
Yeah,
I just
once
can't,
kids are,
but-
yeah, okay.
Yeah, probably later September might work.
Maybe I need a scooter.
Are you okay if we go on, move on?
Yeah, I have a question before we break, but, yeah. Oh, there's a EAB conference at the Temple Ambler Conference.
On the
Uh,
chart.
huh?
It's on the charts.
Oh, it's on the list, okay.
You can ask.
Anyway, I was just wondering if one of us was going.
I'm not registered yet or anything.
No, I'm not registered either. It's not till October 5th. But the other thing is it's $75, so I didn't know whether that was covered or not. Whether we could get that covered by the township or we had to pay ourselves. I don't know what Bill did because I know he's been going.
Yeah, I don't remember him submitting any reimbursement.
Probably not.
Yeah, I'd have to ask whether or not it would be reimbursable.
Okay.
I'd have to ask Karen.
Shall I send you an email?
Yeah, she's on vacation this week, she'll be back next week.
Okay.
You send me
The
something.
early bird is, is 75, it becomes 95 after September 13th. So it pays to pay a little early, yeah.
Yeah, if you send me an email.
I will, to remind you. I'll send you the information. Does anybody else want to go? I mean, I don't have to go if anybody else wants to go. It's a statewide conference. It's called We Can Serve PA.
I can't make it that day because I have an event.
Okay,
Planting
October
event.
5th, yeah,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, and then I put on here that, they were looking for volunteers for lightning sessions, just to share. You guys, I'm sure can't read it, this whole paragraph talks about it, but share some of your activity, local activity, hopefully your success stories, right? So 8 to 10 minutes. And then they're also doing poster presentations, same thing, but I think the poster presentation was over lunch. So I don't
It
know if
is.
you really
I
do-
talked to Joy yesterday, yeah. The poster session isn't going over too well, she said. Nobody wants to do it.
Yeah.
So, yeah. But they're talking about doing roundtable discussions at lunch instead of the poster session, is what she told me yesterday.
I didn't have any other information on that. I don't know. October 5th, I don't know yet. Do you know what the times were?
It's, 8:30 to 10:30 is a tour of the Arboretum, and then it actually starts 10:30 to 4:30.
Didn't we move the October 5th to October 12th?
Yeah,
You
we
have
have
another one?
another.
Oh, okay.
We're planting a pollinator garden at White Marsh Township building,
Oh, cool.
and that'll take up a good chunk of the
Well, that's going to be hours.
morning or early afternoon.
Mm.
So
You're saying that is on the 5th?
What's that?
That's on the fifth, yeah.
I mean, I would have no objection if you want to be the.
No, if you want to go, you go.
I'm quite busy with kids and everything.
I know you're busy with kids. And, you
We'll
know,
have soccer.
I just happened to find out about it through
So,
Monco 100, Ready for 100. That's how I found out about it. Somebody was on that meeting call.
So talk about the energy transition plan. I mean, I think you had sent the
Sustainable PA.
sustainable PA certification. I didn't actually know that we actually are registered as a sustainable PA certification.
Okay.
But we're not, I mean, there's different levels, silver, gold. We're just registered. So I don't know. There is some information on the website about some things we've done. I don't know when this happened. I think it was maybe back in the 2008 area when they first.
We did do an audit of this building before, way back, probably 2009. We've done some things. We've done solar lighting at the community center, or I'm sorry, LED lighting at the community center.
But I mean, your thought was that that could maybe help with finding.
Getting some grants or something like that, right?
Are you familiar with that? That it is.
I can take a look, yeah. I can take a look.
I don't know much about it.
Yeah, I'm assuming Bill probably registered us.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah, that one slide. This next one, I'll just skip. That's really the same thing I had last month on some of the background of the climate action plan at the PA state level. So I just did some more reading of the PA climate action plan. And so I just wanted to do some comparing and contrasting. So, I mean, really the reason I'm looking at it is because the Montgomery County is developing now a climate action plan, and there was a little pushback from some people saying that why do we need our own energy transition plan if now we've got PA, you've got the county level climate action plan. Isn't that cover it already? So I was just been educating myself and comparing. So they are fairly similar in their presentation. Climate action plan going through a GHG, a greenhouse gas inventory at the state level. I mean, that's very encompassing now. I mean, that gets into not just the energy, electricity production and so forth in the state, but really agriculture, industries, all the different industries in the state and everything. So it's very, very broad, very encompassing. Whereas, the energy transition plan also does provide an energy profile. The version that we wrote so far is really just focused on the municipal operations. So we've got electricity and natural gas use, basically, of the township. So it's much more focused. It doesn't get into, I said, industry, everything. It doesn't get into things outside of energy. The PA Climate one also gets into, takes the business as usual case and forecasts it out to 2050. And then it talks about different strategies and everything for lowering it, for meeting goals. Our energy transition plan, we didn't have anything to forecast what the township would do. It's really more of an outline on here are the goals and here is the form, setting up a form to talk about how we're going to meet our goals and incrementally make improvements to meet the goals versus really filling out the full strategy. I mean, the PA statement, again, it talks about reduction strategy, but then it goes through and assesses and prioritizes all those strategies. Our energy transition plan talks about strategies that we can implement, but then it sets up a group within the township, made up of township leaders, and they get together and they decide what the strategy really will be. So it's kind of funny. It's called a plan, but it's really more setting up the framework to lead to reductions versus really saying, here's the path you follow. The path will be determined by that group that gets together, which is set up in the plan. And then just that the climate action plan, it doesn't actually have specific goals that are called out in there. It points to other, PA acts, Act 70, Act 139, and then other policies that are at the state level. Whereas our energy transition plan, all we really have is our Ready for 100 pledge, and that's very high level, saying we'll reduce. We have a 2035 and a 2050 goal. So it's very high level. So in the energy transition plan, we did develop kind of more incremental goals, more a little more resolution to. So if you say like the Ready for 100 sets the top level objectives, the energy transition plan kind of breaks that down a little bit more into a little more specific goals so that you can meet those top level objectives. So that's what we have in the energy transition plan. So I do think that's different. I did also get into climate action plan. Besides reduction strategies, also gets into resiliency, which is very different than what we're trying to do with energy transition plan. But I think they have a lot of parallels. A lot of the reduction strategies really will be very similar, except they're at the state level and have much more broader scope than we'd have. But you could still bring those down to a township level, a lot of them. So I think there's some good parallels there. But the fact that our plan sets up the framework for that group to get together and develop the specific actions that we want to address, and then the way it, as I said, really sets more specific goals and incremental development towards the top level objectives, I think makes it pretty unique. So I'm still playing with the idea that our energy transition plan maybe can be weeded down a little bit. It's got a lot of other complementary documents that it can use, like the PA Climate Action or the Montgomery Climate Action Plan. But I still think we need the energy transition plan at the municipal level to set up some of these different things. So anyway, that's what I'm...
Yeah, I agree. We have to curtail it to our township. We don't... Yeah, we don't have to keep it very generic. Whatever is applicable to the entire state might not be.
The argument for not having a township is, well, the county has one. Well, then why does the county need one? Because the state has one. We should still have one.
Yeah, I think we're unique in that, when we talk about climate, we're in a hub of 476 and the Turnpike and all of that. There's got to be some way to counteract that somehow. I don't know how, but just the amount of traffic that goes through Plymouth is amazing. It's just how do you control the pollution, just for an example, from all the traffic and the cars that are at standstills at lights, like it. Was it Plymouth?
Everywhere?
Yeah.
Everywhere?
Everywhere.
I can't remember. I know when we were working with Villanova, we actually were talking about the traffic through our township and the emissions they have and everything. I think it might have just been on trying to quantify the emissions. I don't know if we had any deeper conversations on it, but...
You gotta plant more trees everywhere.
That's right.
Literally what my head was just thinking. How many spots right along the highway can we just like
And more
turn into
deer-
a forest?
Watch out for
Along
deer
our
son.
streets too. Lots of people have big empty front lawns that are begging for a big oak tree or something. At least in my.
Oh, they're kind of, yeah.
I know.
In my neighborhood,
At least some grass.
Yeah,
they're tearing down houses in our neighborhood. They're tearing down trees. It's amazing.
It's like I think it's like moss lawns or whatever, like digging up all the grass, and it's just like a level of like moss or like some really low growing plant. So it's just that.
Yeah.
And I think I've read like the amount of how much better it is for the environment having that instead of grass.
Yeah.
It's-
My backyard's
Sounding.
becoming a meadow, so.
And it's also you don't have to maintain it because it's low growing and it stays there and it's not a weed. That's what I love because then I know because I do not mow the lawn.
So yeah, that's all I had on the energy transition plan. I'll keep
Good
working
stuff.
on that. So social media posts. Thank you, Andrew. We added one this month, kind of supporting recycling and the plastic bag warriors. I thought that was a great post.
Yeah, thank you. I don't know if I think it only had one like.
Yeah.
Me. I was gonna share it onto the Talkin' Plymouth Facebook page. It has like a couple thousand Plymouth residents or nearby people. I just haven't done that yet. But I think, I think trying to get it out there that we have a Facebook page and they can find updates and stuff and learn about it. Because I think that that's information goes out in the newsletter. How to properly recycle. Don't include your plastic bags in the recycle bin. I don't think most people know that.
Well, they think, oh, it's recycling, yeah.
Yeah, or they put all their recycling in a bag and then put the bag in there.
Fully understand what single-use plastic bags like. The reason, you can use it for like your bathroom trash can or your bedroom trash can, and it does get another use out of it.
Yeah.
Clean the litter
But it's-
box.
Yeah, but it's single use because it's single use because they can't recycle it.
What kind of things, I got an email today about a new chemical they're using on, it's a pesticide. Anyway, you probably got it too, but is that kind of stuff worth putting on our social media? I don't know how extensive we want to talk about the environment on our Facebook.
I think if anyone, I think if anyone,
Environmental Advisory Board.
Okay.
anything.
So-
like that.
I
I think the question
get
is just-
so many things.
It's more about the actual what is it than whether or not like
Yeah.
it's relevant to the environment. I wouldn't necessarily see anything wrong with it, but
Maybe what we should do, I was thinking, maybe we should put something in the newsletter about our Facebook page.
Yeah, I think we usually have a little blurb about our.
That and the
Group,
town,
but
are
maybe-
your town halls advertised in there?
Newsletter only goes out, I think, twice a year.
That's true.
I don't know.
It goes in our sewer bills, yeah.
I'd probably say the more effective would be just sharing it once or twice on Talking Plymouth, and then once they realize they have like somewhere else that might be like actively posting on social media,
Yeah, I can do it in East Point.
probably get a
Valley,
lot
too.
of followers,
Yeah.
and then it just grows from there. There might be a degree where they maybe kind of expect them to also be shared in there, who might just want to keep their page limited. So that could be another thing, just in general. Like if it's something you especially want to get out, like it's essential communication, then I would say just share it yourself in like the Talking Plymouth pages. But if it's just like some stuff that you're just kind of sharing, just leave it on yours. But as early ways to get out and get people to realize, hey, we have one, and
Yeah.
maybe you should consider following it. Just sharing a couple of
That's Facebook.
Facebook posts on Talking Plymouth.
Yeah, if anyone.
I only go to our
Respective
Facebook one.
sites, because I know like I'm in the Black Horse one.
Yeah,
Would just probably be really effective, just because then it's a presence, and kind of there already.
Yeah.
Just be ready, because
It's Facebook.
like
it's Facebook, right?
so.
Yeah, but if everyone has Facebook, I mean, it'd be good if you could share the post.
Spread it
or
out,
something.
absolutely.
Or at least like it. Review it. I don't know.
I checked out all the ones that were linked to or whatever, Whitemarsh and everything. All of them are actually less active than they are as of recent. A lot of them haven't had a post in a year, so.
Yeah.
That could also be a way.
Much more active, but.
This is something that goes away to if you want more people coming to kind of just give ideas and stuff on an agenda. There's nothing wrong with sharing a post. Again, just be ready for people to come and complain.
Right.
Saying like, hey, because these are open to the public and they have every right to come and give their opinions, give their advice. Share it on the pages.
Is Facebook fading? I've heard it is. I don't know. You tell me. I don't know.
I'm not on any social media, but I think, I really am not, but I think the younger kids are not on
Oh,
Facebook.
they're on TikTok.
So I think that maybe that's.
TikTok and
why.
Instagram are
Right,
the
right.
two primary ones of kind of still like I would call it the social engagement in terms of like you had MySpace
That's
and you had
different,
Facebook
yeah.
and you had whatever. I like Facebook.
Twitter?
I think Facebook is more
Yeah,
for
young kids, I
like
think.
nonprofits and
Yeah.
that kind of stuff.
I just
Yeah.
know the
Twitter
young
is
kids
the
are
only
not
one
on
that I use.
Facebook.
Yeah.
I don't use Twitter
When I say young, I mean.
or X, whatever it's called now.
I still call
Yeah.
Twitter. I-
Yeah.
Everybody still calls it Twitter.
Yeah, you're right.
Literally read any article,
Right.
post on X, formerly Twitter,
Call it Twitter.
what it all is. And then if you see anybody doing some sort of public speaking, half the time they're going to say Twitter.
Yeah. They don't.
Or they're at least going to refer to it as tweets.
Tweets. Yeah.
So,
Oh, but we-
yeah, I don't
know.
actually have a Facebook
I
account.
do.
So are we saying that our Facebook account is outdated? We need TikTok or,
TikTok is just,
Instagram.
Publicity for it.
Instagram is what I would say is the more popular one
Is it?
In the young.
in the younger crowd.
Well, we're trying to reach our residents more than, you know.
I would say if you're gonna pursue like the associate member to maybe get a student involved, then it'd be great for like to focus on Facebook right now for the social media, and then when they come in, that's a great job for them giving you ideas. Because even probably more so than me, they'd probably have a better handle on what to do and how to really get a page up and running
Right.
on Instagram. So.
Yeah, I'm not even sure what the community center has. I think they have more than just Facebook, but I don't know what social media.
I get messages from them almost every day, you
On
know.
Facebook, but I think they
Not
have.
Facebook,
no.
I get email.
Okay, I think they have I think they have a few.
I get notices all the time from the community center, you know, especially in the summertime when the concerts and that kind of thing.
I also see Instagram taking off more and becoming more popular because I feel like it was always defined, like when it first started, Facebook you always primarily used with your computer.
Right.
Instagram you primarily used with your phone, not that they weren't available on both. But even now that people have transitioned to really just using their phones over the computer, especially the younger generation, it's the more phone-friendly apps and interfaces. Like Instagram is,
Yeah.
I would say, is more designed for the phone and the personal device versus Facebook was originally designed for the computer.
Yeah.
That's probably why Instagram's also.
I got fed up with it because it has so many ads. So I stopped checking it.
But anyway, I'll keep coming up with some posts if anyone has any
Okay,
other
I'll-
ideas. Yeah.
I'll go home and find those chemical ones and email them to you.
I definitely want to put on there, I know it's on the agenda and everything, but if you're doing first or second consideration.
Or final or
That's a good idea, yeah.
We did it in June or July when you first had it, but I missed August. Hey, Rick, how you doing?
Well, I guess as far as announcements, obviously we're back in this building. All meetings are back since beginning of August. Everybody's moved in. We still have a lot of stuff there's a lot of punch list items that have to get completed. But everyone's back in. As far as parks, we I believe Black Horse Park may have gotten base coated today. We recolor coated most of our courts. East Pleasant Valley tennis courts, Caldwell, we recolor coated and put pickleball courts on that multi-purpose court, JFK Park, and Black Horse. They kind of took a little break because they were paving over there. That neighborhood got paved. So, but I believe they should be finished this week. So that'll all be done. And just next week the community center is shut down, so we have shutdown week, so we'll get a lot of stuff done in there. Every year we go through and do like a deep cleaning that we're not able to do during when it's open. So that'll be next week. Busy week for me, but so that's kind of what's going on.
Yeah. Budgeting coming up. What are you? Any ideas for what next year looks like?
Yeah, I mean, I have 5-year plans, so yeah, there's a lot. I would like to, as far as the parks go, there are a couple other courts that will be color coded that weren't part of this. We have. I would like to redo either Black Horse. I would like to redo JFK Playground, but I think right now we're out for a grant, so I'll wait and see what happens with that. That playground's from 1997 or 1998. It's ready to be replaced. We're kind of holding together with aluminum sign blanks and other things. So that's one, I guess, larger project. Community center, we have a bunch of stuff. Pump room, pool pump room. We want to do. We have new partition doors in the rental rooms. New front doors. There's a lot of projects, whether we get all the funding or not. But there's, as far as here goes, there were some things that were not included in the construction project that we'll put in the operating budget next year. Both the. I'm not exactly sure. I have to meet with some department heads. I'm not exactly sure what we'll put in there yet, but there are, significant projects. Public Works locker room needs to be redone. That wasn't part of the original project. Police locker room wasn't. New lockers in the police department, not the locker room. Locker room was renovated. Parking lot paving. We just paved this back section. Next year we're going to pave out front. So yeah, there's significant projects.
What were you saying about the pool pumps? Are you replacing them?
The pool mechanical room needs to be totally gutted and redone.
Wow.
Yes. So we were going to do it this year, but because of the way equipment is, how the lead time on equipment, we couldn't fit it in this year and still have it open for next June. They want to keep it open for the camps in the summer because they make a lot of revenue from outside camps coming in. But the equipment was going to take 8 to 10 months. So we're going to have it all ready for next year. Get the bid out. Get the they won't order any equipment until they have a signed contract. So we're going to get all that done ahead of time to start. As soon as the last week of August, and then be open back up again for next summer. So yeah, that's all the pool pumps, filter pumps, spa pump, all the filters, all the chemtrail, all the stuff that controls the chemical that goes into the pool, new electric, HVAC for that unit, for that room, new boiler for the pool water.
So they're looking at the renovations after next shutdown.
Yeah, well,
That makes sense.
at
At
next,
next,
at
yeah,
next.
that makes sense.
We wanted to do it now, but because the equipment, they're saying 10 months.
Yeah,
And they're not gonna order it until we have a signed contract, so we're 2 months out to
Right.
bid, contracts back and forth, so yeah, so it's gonna,
that long.
it won't be done for next June.
Do you remember with the Villanova project, they did the audit of that?
They wanted to put it was hot water, it was panels on the roof for,
Heating the water.
heating the
I
water.
thought they'd said something about the pumps too, I
I
forget.
mean, VFDs on the pumps. The only so the pumps, so the Montgomery County Health Department, that water has to turn over so many times in an hour. So I don't know. I think that the plan now is they're going to look into VFDs on the pumps, variable frequency drives, so they can wind the pumps down overnight when nobody's in there. But you still have to meet that turnover ratio for the health department. The other thing that Villanova, the students, they recommended was a solar cover on the pools to stop the evaporation. Really not practical to have somebody try to take that cover off of an Olympic-sized pool every morning and somebody put it on at night, so that's not part of the project. Some of the other things it's not just the pump room, we're gonna repaint the natatorium, new acoustical panels, new lighting. So there's other things other than just the pump room.
I'll go back, I'll try to refresh my memory and I'll send it to you if there's anything.
Yeah, I actually have it too. But yeah, that'd be great.
Couldn't you
One
put
thing
the
I thought
cover
it-
on a roller?
What's that?
Couldn't you put the cover on a roller?
Pool's,
I know how big it
150
is.
feet. I mean, it'd be a heck of a roller. And then where's it go? Like, at the end of the...
It goes back on the roller.
Where's
the
the
way of
roller
the
go?
diving boards.
Yeah,
Yeah, where's the roller go? It's
not like in your backyard.
not even close to your backyard. It's
Yeah,
huge.
I know.
But so there, I mean, we do lose a lot of water to condensation. I mean, we have 2 giant, 50-ton pool pack units that are dehumidifiers, so it does lose a lot of water, but that's just the nature of indoor swimming pools.
I thought they had the recommendation to do salt too. I don't know if anybody was.
Salt water,
using that,
not, so we talked to the pool engineers, and they said that's too big of a pool for salt water. Salt water's for smaller bodies of water. I just think to have the chemical right, to keep the water, the pH right, the water right, they told us it's too many gallons. I mean, it's 400,000 gallons, the lap pool, then the other one's another 175,000. It's too much water for a salt water system. That's what they told us.
Anything else?
Not that I can think of.
Thank you.
All right, you're welcome.
So yeah, state level or at least beyond local here. We got the EAC meeting we talked about coming up October 5th. Again, supporting you going. I don't think I'll be able to make it, so I think it's great. And I don't. Do you think you'd want to try to do a lightning session if talk about? I don't know. The plastic bag ordinance is about the biggest thing I could think
Yeah,
of.
I have to think about it, because Joy asked me yesterday too.
Okay.
Yeah. I was talking about doing needs assessments, how EABs might need to do needs assessments for what the community might want. I've done needs assessments, I know how to teach them, and that kind of thing. And that wasn't something that they wanted to see, at least at this workshop. Doing needs assessments in your township to see what they recognize as environmental issues. And that's why I was talking about the town hall or a meeting or an open meeting, whatever we decide to do. Yeah.
Okay. I'm trying to remember new model ordinance on community composting. Okay, I remember this. Natural Resource Defense Council an environmental law institute released a model municipal zoning ordinance on community composting. Template to help to advance community composting by establishing it as an allowable use for land under the municipality's zoning code. I don't know if we have that problem really with the zoning code or not, but it's an interesting.
That was kind of my question. So we have a new house coming, like my neighbor's house, they took it down and they're rebuilding, and that has a larger footprint than the previous house. So they're not, I don't think they're like, having a 2-story house. They're having a rancher house, but with a larger footprint. So there are state laws that they ask like anything, whatever additional runoff you generate when you have like additional impervious area, you have to manage that on your site. So how do we do that with the township?
So, I mean, I don't know, I mean, you're
There's a zoning hearing for that
Yeah.
house.
yeah.
Oh, in Sheffield, we had a real problem one year. I mean, 2 cars got totally
Oh, yeah,
flooded.
that's down.
Yeah,
towards
because of
Germantown.
that, because of the footprint and the runoff and everything, because I was on council at the time. It was a mess. That one house lost the cars, do you remember that?
So,
You
Yeah,
don't?
I do
Yeah.
remember that.
On Sheffield.
Yeah.
Yeah, the family lost 2 cars. Yeah, that's a good question.
So are they asking for a variance to go larger than what
They are.
they're?
Yeah, they are.
And there's a hearing for
Yeah,
it.
so.
It's
I
not
mean,
taking place yet.
I do believe that there are requirements, they're gonna have to submit their plans to the code enforcement department, they're gonna have to look over it, make sure everything's, to code, but you may wanna go there and just, say, I'm concerned about the runoff on, so they're, I guess, hyper aware, but I'm sure they're aware of it, but wouldn't hurt for you to go there to
Yeah.
Yeah.
speak
Bring
about
your
it.
expertise.
That property is a little bit higher than yours too.
Yeah, I actually had to put in a berm and a French drain because the house kept flooding my one room. Because of that, yeah.
Yeah, usually, in the zoning hearings that, if it's something significant, council can
Authorize.
like opposition, they can say, hey, I mean, usually it's for like a apartment building or
Yeah.
something, not just a house. But I think
Right.
if you go and say, hey, I'm concerned about
So, yeah, my concern is not about one particular house, like it just happens to be my neighbor house, that's why I know.
The one right next to you.
Yeah, but there are like so many different houses in the valley, like especially in the valley, they're taking them down, they're cutting off the trees and they're
They
like
are.
building a larger footprint. So it's about the general strategy that we want to like as
They're not putting a
township.
second floor, usually
I
they put a
believe the
second floor.
council passed an ordinance, so I guess before you didn't have to have what they call a saldo. I may not be saying this correctly, but you could knock your house down and rebuild with a building permit. But I think now you have, because they had the same issue in the valley when they were building these, a lot of the houses in the valley don't have basements, so they're building next door, and the house is now 3 feet higher because now it's on a basement, and it did have some runoff issues. So now I think they have to go through a little bit more stringent requirements to do those demos and rebuilds. And I don't know if it's passed yet, but I know it was definitely talked about in several council meetings. That
Like they have to have an engineer or something look at it and.
I think it's more about like
Sign off on
it's
it?
like a land, like you have to submit a land development where before you just have to get a building permit. So land development takes into consideration all the, the runoff, all that stuff. So I think it's like now it's more detailed than it was before, where you just pulled a building permit.
A while ago, or?
It was several months. I mean, it was months ago. I remember there was an issue. I know an issue came up at a house in the valley where they built next door. And now all the water was running to the neighbor. So maybe they haven't passed that yet, but it's been talked about.
Let me put a second floor. You don't want to set a precedent either, because then it'll happen to other people. Once if one house does it, other people, because a lot of houses in the valley now put second floors on them,
Yeah.
And
like my neighbor.
Yeah, we have like the separate sewers, like so we just drain it in our creek, right? Like the stormwater goes straight, like most of our
Yes.
part just gets into the creek. So there are implications there as well.
Sure.
Yeah, like I said, I don't know if that was, I know it was talked about, I don't know where it stands, but it was gonna, I think they're gonna make it, or they made it more stringent on, now you have to do a full land development, not just or they're proposing to do a full land development, not just a building permit.
Yeah.
And I can ask Karen next week when she's back, I don't.
Ask Karen, because I don't quite remember it. And if I were to guess, I would say if for a demo rebuild would probably be where you would have the new development, and if you're just renovating a certain part of your house, but it's staying the same,
Right,
I would guess that would be just a building permit.
Yeah.
But any of the demolition rebuilds, especially if it's going to be a bigger footprint.
I'll find out, but I would.
Because for state, the laws are like the NPDES, as they call, like
Yes.
the laws are pretty stringent.
Right.
You have to match it to the new construction phase. So-
My guess is if it passed,
Maybe it didn't pass, maybe they're just talking about it, because you would know if it
why
passed.
wouldn't? Because then why would he be at the zoning board then?
Right. maybe.
Variance, like to me, if you just needed a building permit, wouldn't that bypass the zoning?
There's
Changing
this
the
one that
footprint.
said something, so I got a letter, because I live across the street, so I got a letter, and it said something like, they're going to build 5 feet closer to the neighbor or closer to the street or something like that, and that was,
It's not on Brighton, it's on
yeah,
the
so
other
that was
side.
like a variance, and they're gonna have a hearing about it, and that was it.
Right.
Is that?
What street is it closer to then? Brighton
Yeah, so
and
it's
what?
not.
I can't remember the exact
details.
detail.
Yeah, it's on the other side.
Other side.
It may have been to the house, closer to the house next to it, actually.
This is the new house, right? The one they're,
Yeah.
It's at Brighton and Church.
Church.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Right.
That's the one they tore down.
Yeah, it's
Right.
probably the same guy that's building all these houses.
God.
Oh, really? Okay. so-
There's a group that are, I mean, there's probably, I
Renoing, yeah.
don't know, 10 or 15 that have gone up in the valley in the last several years.
Yeah, that house was like abandoned. I don't know what
Yeah.
the story was.
It was all
It was empty
overgrown
for
for a long
years.
time, too, yeah.
Only we had always been insisting on our sidewalk ordinance.
Right.
The valley would probably be done by now.
I tell you, and I don't see it slowing down. I mean, they're selling these houses for $850,000 and,
yeah, no.
Wow.
you know.
Yeah, I keep getting calls, people want to buy my
that?
house.
Not mine.
Do you get calls all the time, people want to buy your house?
Yeah, sometimes, yeah. Is that what they're willing to pay?
I don't know, that's what he said.
Pay more
Well,
attention.
I'm just going by, like, I'm sure there are more now will follow, but I'm guessing, I mean, they're probably building them for 125 a square foot and, walking away with 150,000.
Oh, my kids will make out like bandits when I die.
By that.
Yeah, so like, so some of the zoning issues, they also like, part of environmental issues, so we just like, yeah.
So what were you talking about, compost or what?
Yeah,
That's all.
that's how it started. I mean, there was an ordinance talking about basically allowing community composting. So, I mean, it's not
Every once
your
in a
backyard composting, it's a larger community composting site.
Like one central location where everyone could drop off, just like yard waste or like like banana peels and orange peels?
Banana peels.
Yeah, as long as it's no meat or dairy, yeah.
Okay.
And leaves you compost too, because you need other material other than garbage, yeah.
And would they do that like here or like this?
Property? I mean, I don't know where you would do it, but
question. It's just the general.
Or next to Lena's house?
It would make the trash a lot more pleasant, that's for sure.
We have gotten questions about residents Like every once in a while, someone might come and to a council meeting. No, and just talk about composting. Like, is that an initiative like we'd be interested in pursuing? So I know that there's.
Tell them about the EAB
Yeah.
meetings.
But I mean, at the very least, I would say there's at least some level of township interest, at least in some degree of composting. Whether they would prefer it, like to just be educated in it, so they could start doing it themselves, or for some community composting. Regardless, that is something that has reached our ears about, like, at least a budding
Until I got
interest in the
my
township.
first composter was the township did it. They offered an education session, and then I came here, paid my money, and picked up a composter. So, I mean, the education part of it would probably be something worthwhile. I don't know who organized it, though.
It was the 4-H Center.
Oh, was it? Okay. Are they still around?
Yeah, they're still around. I don't know whether they have a composting program, but they came down with the composters and
Okay.
they did the.
That was, yeah, I hadn't been living here very long at the time. Okay.
A couple of years ago, we talked about the potential to do it at Weatherall, have a community compost there, and we had the woman here who did compost
Stinkupa Park.
and everything.
She has a business right back there.
Yes.
She does it.
Oh, she has a business. Oh.
Yeah, she'll come to your house and come in for a fee.
Yeah.
And she'll take your compost and,
You get like a 5-gallon bucket or something, and she picks it up every week or so. Yeah.
yeah.
Anyway, last slide here. Mentioned the Whitpain Community Festival. If there's anyone that can do it, I cannot do that on the 28th. Looking for somebody that could help participate in that, and Bill did say he would be there, so he could help.
Yeah,
with
maybe he could help me, yeah.
28th of September.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
It's Saturday, right?
Yes. I
Yeah.
know the 21st is a Saturday.
It's a matter of lugging table and chairs and everything.
Well, Bill said he would
Oh, I know.
help with that part.
Yeah.
And then, this was more of a field thing. Sent out a letter looking for township council or somebody to be willing to sign a petition in support of the community choice aggregation legislation at the state level. I believe he sent that to council, so I put it up there.
Can look into that.
I must have missed that. Did you see that? I must have missed it.
I can forward it back out.
Forward it back.
Yeah, because I don't even remember it either.
And that's all I got. Any other topics? No?
No, I'm going to send Rick an email to see whether the township, even if they just pay half for me to go to the conference.
We're almost finished planning some of our fall events for tree planting and stuff, and there will be some in Plymouth, including at Storehouse Church with Lena's son, along the creek there, and probably a couple spots in Plymouth too. I'll talk to you real quick about some of the spots, but yeah, maybe a couple parks too. But I'll let you know the dates and stuff when we're finalized, in case you want to join.
When did that do the application?
I'm not sure. I think
September?
maybe.
Okay.
Yeah, I think we're looking at.
September's like right around the
Trying to get it
corner,
in.
isn't it? I just,
You said about like Centennial and Colorado.
Yeah. Let's see if I can bring up the spots real quick.
I don't even know the date of Labor Day. When's Labor Day?
Monday.
And this is where I was.
It's always, it's always a Monday, you're
behind
funny.
that little pavilion.
Yep.
I I know you guys planted like a bunch
Is that
throughout
right?
here. I don't know if this map shows it yet, but we find other space. I know this
Yeah, I
soil
think it
is
is,
pretty
yeah.
compacted.
Yeah.
so- But
I can't believe it's like.
yeah, I mean, I was there recently, and all the ones you guys planted are still going. So, and then, I don't know at Bicentennial.
2 weeks from yesterday, okay.
I just suggested 3 along the street on Belvar. Like, I guess that's that way. Is that okay?
How about along the creek?
On the other
Drew,
side,
it's just maybe trees.
Yeah, like I was
Yeah,
thinking.
yeah, it's so fun.
Does that-
Yeah, he did for his Eagle Scout
Yeah.
project.
Lemonade.
Is that okay?
Yeah, that's fine.
So
Yeah,
he
easier to water
did
there
one
for us too,
event
'cause it's right near the street.
in earlier spring.
I think it would
Yeah, I
be.
remember
Now
we
It'd be nice
he's-
eventually to,
Something about
you
that.
know, like what Snow Street did along the street.
Yeah, and now
Yeah, so I have some money.
and then he's going to do a
Some
sign.
stuff out here too.
What's the
I
sign?
don't want to hold everybody up.
Sign,
with,
sign, yeah.
you know, some actual,
That
With
says
the
what?
information
do along the street, 'cause I
about the
do want to
trees,
trim up some of the
riparian buffer
cherry
and.
trees out there, starting to hang over the tree,
Okay.
hang over
Okay.
the parking lot.
Mike
Yeah,
did that
I
too.
think that's a good idea. Get some
Did.
pollen burlap stuff.
They did it with
Yeah, we
Norristown.
might,
With
I
the
mean.
Norristown
December,
shade
maybe
tree.
November or something, if you
This
know.
was
Yeah, that'd be good.
years ago.
Yeah, because I think even
And one was at Elmwood
planting
Park.
around the cherries, I guess.
Yeah.
Replacement trees.
And one was
cherries.
at
Or
on
something.
Fornance Street. There's like
Oh, that sounds good.
a
Are you okay with the species?
reservoir, like to hold stormwater runoff.
All right. Yeah, White Marsh will pick them up this year. Because we're doing,
See,
He will turn 17 this
Is
September.
there anything you want us to be prepared
gotta get that
for?
done by 18, right?
Yeah, yeah.
I remember Timmy went out to
Good
that
adjourn.
early days.
Make a motion, we,
Before he turned 18.
I don't, I mean, on your schedule or, you know, our different objectives for the year, I
Okay,
mean.
the education
a
part.
Deep dive on it,
Yeah.
what charts, I mean. who wants to?
Yeah, when I talked to Rick, he thought that they wouldn't charge us if we
He's 17
had a
now.
room over
He
at the
will
community
turn
center if we
17.
wanted to hold a meeting.
So he's 16.
But now that this is
But
finished,
like
you could probably
it's
fit.
September, so he turns 17.
In a month.
Is this where your town halls are gonna be?
I don't know, I know they're going to, they're not having any of
All year to get
the,
it done.
like the sports leagues are not meeting.
Because they're like, once you turn 18, it's.
So they used to meet here at the township building.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Other than that, I don't know where.
okay.
Yeah. I think at least the other citizen boards are here. I would assume the town hall is going to be right in there. So I would think if there was
When's your town hall, do you know?
the
October?
18th of September,
Oh, September. Okay.
What's the town hall for?
sidewalks.
And you're,
No, not yet.
oh,
This
good.
one, not yet.
Yeah, because usually hunting is November.
Yeah.
My father used to hunt.
The deer one will be later.
Why is there?
That's if that's still the most pressing issue. Like if another issue comes up, that's like, oh, we need to address this. Because sidewalks has been one of the big
Oh, yeah.
priorities.
What's the issue about sidewalks?
Arch Road especially.
So part of our comprehensive plan is to make Plymouth more walkable. We had an ordinance at one point that anytime you did renovations in your houses, you were supposed to put in a sidewalk.
Kids on the bike.
And
You gotta.
that was put in a while ago. And councils weren't having it enforced. So people would be renovating and not having a sidewalk. And as we kind of started, we said we wanted to put it in
Sidewalk.
and start enforcing it. And then we got a lot of pushback with it. And to a degree, we were like, no, these residents are like, we're kind of tied because we didn't pass the ordinance. We just said, well, we pass it, we should enforce it. So we put a stay on it to look into drafting another plan. Now we're gonna have a town hall on it to get reactions from the residents to see them, how do we feel about this? Is this something we can move forward with? And then
Well, it depends on who's covering the cost.
A lot of these new houses in the valley are not.
Yeah. So that lot next to you, where they're gonna build, there's not a sidewalk on
They
Brighton.
would have to
Yeah.
put one, yeah.
Bring that up at the zoning meeting.
Yeah.
Well, no, right now I do
Yeah, I
believe
know.
that there's a stay, that we put a stay on
Oh,
the ordinance
How about
while
that
we
one
were
across the
looking
street,
into
too?
it, and developing a plan.
I think like half of our community.
Because there were a couple of houses and stuff like that were asking us, like, are we gonna be delayed on our project and stuff, so that we're gonna put a stay on it, so that you can move forward, while we revisit the ordinance.
And I think the rest of their sidewalk is completely destroyed too.
Yeah.
Because they just let it go, it got grown over, and it's all busted up now.
Motion to adjourn? I can't do it.
I make a motion, we adjourn. Somebody has to second. Good night, everyone, thank you.